Good afternoon. Welcome to Afternoon Chat. The chat is up and running. Well, how was your weekend? Lions lost, so, it's going to take a miracle for them to get in the playoffs now. I'm just saying. Afternoon Chat, Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. A free show. An inclusive show. Everyone is welcome. What's on your mind today? The people in the live chat are the actual stars of this show. They determine what we talk about. There's no set agenda, no script. We can talk about anything you want as long as we stay within the community guidelines established by YouTube. So what's on your mind today? If you'd like to get in the chat, you need to go to YouTube and download their Discord app. I don't stream on any of the other platforms, just YouTube. No midstream ads, no commercials, no sponsors. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm simply just trying to meet people, talk to them, find out what's going on in their part of the world. Stop in and say hi. It won't cost you a penny. I got kind of depressed yesterday when the Lions lost. Yeah, there was more bad officiating, but it's still the Lions lost the game. Their defense wasn't able to get the turnovers that they needed. Technically, the Lions can still make the playoffs. I just don't see it happening. It's it's going to take a small miracle. Not only do they need to win out, but they need other people to lose. It looks like the Chicago Bears will win the division. And it looks like Green Bay is probably going to beat them out for the wild card spot because Green Bay has got the tie. It's not a win, but it's also not a loss. It's a tie. With Green Bay having swept the Lions, odds are they're not going to make it in my opinion. I'm not a professional football guy. Okay. I just found the loss depressing. Okay. Personal opinion. That's all I can offer. What's on your mind? What do you guys want to talk about? Rob Reiner and his wife getting killed. Yeah, it's very, very sad, very heinous. And to think that their own son did it. Oh. Drug addiction, mental health problems still plague America. Until our society decides to change that, it's going to remain a problem. It's my understanding that their son, Nick, has been arrested. We'll see how it plays out, but looks to me like he's off his rocker. Drug addiction is horrible. It takes a toll, not just on you, but on your family, on your friends, and on our society. I don't care what drug you're talking about. If you can do it in moderation, you're probably going to be okay. The minute you pass moderation and go into excess, it's probably going to turn out to be quite harmful. I think as far as human beings go, anything done in moderation is probably okay, in my opinion. Anything that's done in excess, it's not going to turn out good. I can only speak from my life experience and my problems with addiction. And I've had numerous problems with addiction throughout the course of my life. Started with me with alcohol. I was 35 before I was able to put the bottle down. Yeah. I was basically a drunk, a blackout drunk. Yeah, I'm already on my Gatorade. I had a good morning. And I got a nap. I think that's my superpower in old age. If I get my nap, I'm good. So what's on your mind? What do you guys want to talk about? We had a great show on Friday. Quite a few people in the chat. Topics varied. And boom, the 2 hours was over. That fast. I watched a little bit of football this weekend, and that's about it. I didn't do too much. I'm in Michigan. We got really nasty weather. Last I knew, it was 17 degrees outside. I'm not going out. Okay. I'll wait. It'll warm up eventually. Tomorrow's supposed to be a high of 30, so I'll be going out Tuesday morning. I go out every Tuesday morning. Go to breakfast with my family. And then I generally grocery shop or run errands, while I'm out anyways. It's wintertime in Michigan. And it's cold out there, plain and simple. I don't know if you can hear my wind chimes outside my window going off, but there's a breeze. So there's a wind chill factor. I'm not walking out the door till tomorrow morning at 8:30. Okay. Yeah, not too much else going on for me. What's going on for you guys? What do you guys want to discuss today? I really don't have anything to rant about. I guess I guess we should probably talk about the holiday depression and dealing with depression and the rising prevalence of mental health issues in our society. Well, back in the day, I'm old enough, I can remember that they actually had institutions. And I saw those institutions close down in the 70s. And all the people that were in them getting mental health were basically put out on the street, put back into society. It's not for me to judge whether it was good or bad. I'm just saying. My grandparents on my mother's side used to work in the mental health field. They made a living at it. I believe in counseling. I've been in counseling a number of times throughout the course of my life. I believe it helps. Well, in a couple of different areas. You can unload all your problems on a complete stranger. Sometimes that just takes enough of your burden off of your own shoulders. Well, if you say something to family, it can come back to you. Don't you remember 3 years ago when you told me? That doesn't happen with a counselor that you that you can change. Get a new one every week if you want. I think counseling might help. It can't hurt. Human beings make mistakes. None of us are perfect. When we're not perfect, from time to time, it might help to get some counseling and get an overview as to your life and your decisions and the choices that you're making. After my third divorce, I put myself in counseling for a year and a half. I needed an overview on what I was doing with my life. The counselor doesn't have an emotional attachment. They're actually working for you to help you. I think that's necessary nowadays. You see a lot of people losing it all the time, everything from road rage to, addiction issues. Stress takes a toll on a human being. That's just my opinion. Feel free to jump in the chat and disagree. I just think that, stress is killing people all over the planet. I'm retired. My kids are grown. I don't have the stress issues that a lot of people are under. Not anymore. If you're having trouble dealing with stress, get some counseling. Find an outlet. Throughout the years, I used to use video games as a stress outlet. I'd get so involved in the game, I'd forget about all my own problems. It worked for me. Sometimes that's all you need is a temporary escape. I think that's why human beings self-medicate. They're looking for a temporary escape. If you can get that through counseling, I think you're better off. Personal opinion, but what do you guys think? People have stress. There's no doubt about it. How you deal with that stress is, that's going to weigh heavily on you. I'm not saying you should look back at prior choices and feel guilt. But I'm saying we all make mistakes. It's human nature. My personal opinion is if something gets to be too much for me that I need to escape, I seek out counseling. If you don't like the counselor, just get a new one. I don't think you can escape your responsibilities. You know what I mean? But, that goes along with my live and let live policy. The guy you don't know on the street there, you don't know what he's dealing with. He could have 3 jobs. He could have, student debt. That's huge nowadays. He could be dealing with grief, illness, other hardships. You don't know what's bothering somebody. And an interaction with you, should it turn confrontational, it could be the final straw that breaks the camel's back. I think part of maturing as an adult is understanding that there are some things in life you cannot control, you cannot change. And you can't worry about those things. You can't let them eat a hole in your stomach and give you an ulcer. Your mental state has a direct correlation to your physical health. You need to respect yourself enough to get help. If you're feeling radicalized, if you're feeling like you need to lash out at others, you need counseling. You need to reach out and get some help. Normal people aren't sitting around plotting to hurt other people. Normal people are not thinking of harming others or harming themselves. There's a certain amount of human behavior that's shared by all humans, but there's also a certain amount that's situational. You might be in an uphill battle due to things that happened in your past. Years ago, I know of a woman that had a traffic accident with no insurance. She paid for that one mistake for literal years. The judgment fell against her in the court, and she had to make payments. And she was not wealthy, so she had to make small payments for decades. You could find yourself in a position like that where the deck's now stacked against you due to something you did in your past that you're still paying for. Don't let it overwhelm you. Get some counseling, get some help. Don't let our society radicalize you to the point where you're lashing out at other people. That's human nature to lash out. But our society has an umbrella of laws that we must all stay underneath. We all must stay within those boundaries. The laws and the rules of our society tell us you can only lash out so far. You can stand in your front yard and yell at your neighbor if you want, but you can't walk up and hit him in the mouth. That winds you in jail. And that's not solving any of your problems. That's actually creating more problems. Don't let poor decisions ruin your life. Get some counseling, get some help. Find a release for those tensions, for your anxiety. Your mental state can affect your physical health. When you hook up electrodes to a human being and you have them sit down and play a game of chess, as the tension in the game heightens, they can measure a change in breathing, a change in your blood pressure, your heart rate. As you feel stress in the game, a doctor can actually measure physical changes in your body. You start to perspire. So if mentally you're stressed out 100% of the time, guess what? It's going to take a physical toll on your body. In my opinion, I'm not a doctor. I'm just telling you. Don't let this stuff eat you up. Don't let it compound and stack until you finally explode into some kind of a blind rage. We all have repercussions for our actions. In my opinion, getting counseling, seeking help, confiding in another human being is your best way to go. If you're that stressed out, you're probably not in physical condition in order to be making life choices for yourself or others. Sometimes people with children get stressed out too. Okay. There's nothing to be ashamed about by getting help. It should be applauded in our society. When you can only lash out so far, there's no release for your anger. There's no release for your hatred. It just eats a hole in you. It's self-destructive to worry too much. You got to worry a little. You need to stay motivated to keep going to work, to keep making progress. But you can't let it consume you, in my opinion. When you let it consume you and you worry too much, then you have health issues. You get an ulcer. You'll have a stroke. You'll have a heart attack. I think we all need help from time to time. The worst thing you can do is bottle it all up and never let it out. Work yourself to death because you're stressed out about financial issues. We know financial issues is a major part of stress. In America, anyways, in the United States, those financial issues are serious. That's one of the reasons this show's free, believe it or not. I'm not trying to sell you anything. There are very few shows on TV that are not trying to sell you anything. As far as I know, everyone I see has got a commercial. Somebody's trying to tackle your wallet. You can't let this stuff eat a hole in your stomach. You've got to find a release. You've got to find some moment of peace in order to stay sane. If you're thinking about lashing out at other people, you probably need some counseling. Normal people aren't plotting to hurt their neighbor. Normal people aren't sitting around conspiring. Normal people are just trying to lead their life. They're working hard towards a goal. They're trying to build a future. Well, a lot of times nowadays, especially in the holiday season like we're at, a lot of people get depressed. There are different kinds of depression. There's different levels of depression, but depression is not good for you. It has negative health ramifications. So you need to learn to deal with things. There's a few ways you can do it. I do some things, it's a standard practice for me now. I started doing them back in the 80s. Like my list. I actually sit down a couple of times a year and I make a list. I draw a line down the center of the paper. One side is negative influences on my life. The other side is positive influences on my life. Then I consciously schedule my time for the positive side, and I consciously schedule less time for the negative side. Over time, that negative side disappears. It's no longer in my life. I no longer need to schedule time for it. That way works for me. If it's a positive influence on my life, I want to schedule time for it. If it's a negative influence on my life, I want to schedule less time for it. And these could be people. Sometimes a human being, a fellow human being, is a positive influence on your life, and you need to schedule more time to be with that person, to spend on that person. Vice versa, A lot of times that person is a negative influence on your life. And you need to consciously spend less time with that person. Let them be less involved in your life. Someone that is currently an addict would be what? A negative influence on your life. They're going to do negative things. Vice versa, that positive influence on your life, the more time you spend with that person, the better off you're going to be. Scheduling my time gives me ultimate control. We all try to do the right thing. If you've got a relative that's an addict, you want to give them a hand up, help them out of the gutter. Very admirable. The right way to go. But you've got to have boundaries. You can't let them pull you into the gutter with them. Those boundaries are important for human beings. Those boundaries keep you from crossing the double yellow line when you're driving. Those boundaries keep you on your straight and narrow path, building for your future, moving forward, trying to become successful. Without those boundaries, you yourself can fall into the addiction. You yourself can become a victim. You want to help others, I understand that, but you can't let them drag you down. You must have boundaries established, in my opinion. I'm not saying I'm right. Feel free to disagree. Jump in the chat, straighten me out, educate me. Feel free to voice your opinion. That's why this show is here. If you can't get into the chat, you need to go to YouTube and download the Discord app. Most people watch this show on their TV. But if you want to chat, you're going to need another device. Your phone, a tablet, a computer. I've been told that there are some new TVs out there that you can chat with your TV remote. But I haven't seen any of them yet. I don't think most people have them. The latest smart TV with all the bells and whistles. When I chat, I use my laptop. I was doing it yesterday during a football game. I was watching Mike Kimber on my TV and watching the game, and I was chatting with him on my laptop. It'll be one device soon enough. We'll all get the new TVs eventually. But for right now, you need that second device. Use your phone or a tablet or a computer. And then you can jump in the chat and voice your opinion. Like and subscribe if you could. That might help this channel. But if you can't, don't worry about it. I looked it up in my analytics, and 85% of the people watching this show are doing it on TV. Bless their hearts. Okay. If that's the case, if you're watching on your TV and you don't have one of the latest models with all the bells and whistles, you're going to need to be able to use your phone and get that Discord app if you want to chat. Feel free to voice your opinions. You don't have to agree with me to be heard. This is an inclusive channel. Everyone's welcome. It's not an exclusive club. Voice your opinion. Maybe that'll relieve a little bit of your stress. Who knows? I don't care what we talk about. You can talk about anything you want to talk about as long as we stay within the community guidelines established by YouTube. It's a free show, and you get to voice your opinion. You get to be the guest star. That has value to me. I like to voice my opinion. That's why I'm doing it, you know? But whatever you guys want to talk about is fine. I see a lot of bad things happening in our society, and a lot of it is stress related. People are depressed. People are having mental health crises. You shouldn't have to feel alone when you don't want to. If you ever wanted a chance to talk to your TV, this show is it. Okay. I was trying to explain it to my father last night. This is what TV is going to. Live interaction. It's just getting warmed up. We got a long way to go. As far as I'm concerned, this is the future. So feel free to jump in the chat and voice your opinion. It's not required, but it is at your option. If you want to do it, you're more than welcome. A lot of guys, well, on Friday, we had guys jumping in the chat just to crack jokes. Okay? We don't have to talk about serious topics. We can talk recipes if you want. I don't care. Whatever's on your mind. Most of my adult life, I was in Las Vegas in the table games. I was meeting, lots of people every day. I would say at least 100 a week for 33 years. In my retirement, I miss that. So I've created this show so I can continue to meet people and find out what's on their mind, what their priorities are, what their opinions are. Live chat's not for everybody. In some foreign countries, and this show does have an international base, in some foreign countries, you cannot speak freely in a public forum. I live in the United States of America, and we have freedom of speech, so I can speak freely in a public forum. But if you're in a country that restricts their public's opinion, don't get yourself in any trouble. That's all I can say. The United States has got a different set of rules than most countries. Supposedly. I know, could be subject to change. You never know. The main thing I try to get across to people is my live and let live policy. You've got to be tolerant of other people. It doesn't have to be confrontation after confrontation in life. We can be tolerant. We don't have to give people a side eye. Okay. Be tolerant with one another. Be patient. Be understanding. I do it all the time. I believe that if you're nice to everybody 100% of the time, all that niceness and all that kindness is going to come back to you tenfold, in my opinion. Feel free to jump in the chat and disagree. I don't think it makes me a doormat. I think it makes me a good friend. I'm willing to let other people speak their mind. I'm willing to hear you out. I respect other people's opinions, and I understand that I cannot be perfect 100% of the time. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm depending on the people in the chat to jump in there and straighten me out. Okay. Keep me from going off the deep end, folks. Okay. I smoke cigarettes and pot. I'm a flawed human being. This is your proof I'm not AI. And the fact that I value your opinion and I respect you as a human being, that upsets a lot of people. We're all entitled to our opinion, in my opinion. I used a new beard butter. The beard feels softer, but the mustache itches. Some guy on Friday was telling me I need to dye my beard so it's not so gray. I didn't find that insulting. I've never dyed my hair. But there is a drastic difference in the color. We're all entitled to our own opinion, and you can voice yours here on this show. That's what this show is all about. The only thing you can do wrong here is really not have a good time. I like talking to people. I like meeting people. I'm not sure that I'd call myself an extrovert. I just call myself friendly, easygoing. In the workplace, the only real nickname I ever got was they used to call me the asshole. Well, in the workplace, I was a little more serious. All right. It's my belief that facts and figures do not lie. People lie. Now, that's a personal opinion. Facts and figures don't lie. That's why our government's not giving us any economic data. They don't want us to know that they've shot our economy in the foot. Okay. Metaphorically, America is dragging one leg. All right. We're not getting around as good as we used to. They're not releasing the data on the unemployment figures, on the inflation figures. And some of the data that they're releasing is not factual. But because it's the US government, the data will come out eventually. After the midterm elections, we'll find out how bad a year 2025 was. But that won't be until after the midterms. They're not going to let any bad numbers come out. Our current regime in the United States is thin-skinned. They're afraid of the bad news that they create. Okay? That's, in my opinion, that's the way I see it. Well, our exalted hot dog was convicted of cooking the books in his businesses. Now he's running the government, and it's my belief he is cooking the books once again. They're not releasing the data that shows how poor the economy is. But every time you go to the store, every time you go out in public and you open your wallet and spend your money, you understand how expensive everything is getting. I remember 20 years ago, I went to Santa Barbara, and I went to one of the most oceanside restaurants with a patio and a view. I had a date, and we're sitting there taking in the sunset. We had, we each had a burger and an iced tea. I got the bill, and it was $75 for 2 burgers and 2 iced teas. I was shocked. Since when did a hamburger cost $25? I was in the grocery store last Tuesday. I grabbed a pack of hamburger, and I looked at that, and 1 pound of hamburger was $10. Okay. And I thought, that's how you get that $35 cheeseburger. That's right. They just mark up the price. And you, the consumer, we, the buyers, we have to pay the price or go without. That place that I had the dinner at Ocean View Sunset Burger and iced tea, that $70 bill is probably over $100 now. Okay. I'm just saying. Inflation is real, and it's here. It's on us. Every time I go to a store, I see it. I had it front and center when I went through my receipt, and I'm like, how did I spend $100 and get to carry all my groceries in with one hand? Didn't $100 worth of groceries used to mean I had to make 2 or 3 trips from the car? Now I carried them all in one hand. That's inflation, okay? Everything is costing us more. Well, this is what happens when your exalted hot dog starts a trade war with the world. Exalted hot dog is my phrase. Okay, that's what I call him. He thinks he's better than everybody else. Well, the fact that his own Congress won't hold him accountable for anything. They won't. Until his term is expired, they're not going to hold him accountable for anything. So he can cook the books, not release the data, and stand in front of these little crowds and say, oh, everything is marvelous. We're in the golden age. He might be happy with the current economy, but I'm not. You shouldn't be spending all of your money at the grocery store. Just like you shouldn't be spending all of your money paying your rent. I see it. I see the prices raising. The apartment complex I live in. Every year when my lease is up, they raise my rent by $100. It's a matter of time before they price me out. I have 2 apartments been vacant 6 months, right next door. They're vacant because they price themselves out of the market. They're not vacant because people don't need housing. They're vacant because they charge too much, more than it's worth. Perceived value. When you don't see the value, you don't spend the price. You don't spend the money. It's just like when you go to buy a car. If it's too high priced, you don't buy. Eventually, this is what's going to happen at the grocery store. Eventually, the grocery store is going to have food on the shelves that's not being bought. What happens then? The grocery stores will go out of business. Small businesses will shut down when they don't have people buying their products, buying their services. Inflation takes a bigger toll on our society than you realize. It's my opinion that our exalted hot dog has cooked the books and started a trade war with the world. In my opinion, he has taken a growing economy, not only put the brakes on it, but he's thrown it into reverse. I'm predicting a 10 to 15% in our nation's GDP, gross domestic product. 10 to 15%. In my opinion. If the GDP was, just pick a round number, $6 trillion in 2024, I'm predicting a 10 to 15% reduction for 2025. But because the exalted hot dog is cooking the books, we're not going to find this out until after our midterm elections. This time next year, they'll be releasing the real numbers for 2025 and showing you how bad it really got. And it's gotten bad. A tariff is a hidden tax on the American people. Every one of those tariffs is a new tax. So if he tariffs 100 companies, 100 countries, That's 100 new taxes on the American people. He jokes about it. He says, oh, we found it on the tariff shelf. We found this money. No, you took that money from the American people. Congress is not holding the president accountable. Congress says, do anything you want. It's okay with us. We don't care. We've already got our bribes. We're good. Unless you want to bribe us some more. I think that handout should be in every politician's public photo. That's all they're doing. So they're taking money from the American people. No, they're taking it from your wallet. The corporation bribes the politician. The politician fixes the laws so that you, the American people that voted for that politician, get to pay more money. They act like they're doing you a favor as they do it. What's on your mind, folks? What do you guys want to talk about? Jump in the chat and change the topic anytime you like. I just think that the American economy is in some serious trouble. And I don't see a light at the end of the tunnel. I don't see anything happening until 2029, when we have a new president that can get rid of these tariffs, that can stop the assault on the American wallet. In my opinion, feel free to voice yours. All right, what do you want to talk about now? How about the Epstein ballroom? When do you think it'll be done? And do you think you're ever going to get to see it? I mean, other than on TV? I don't think you are. I really don't. I believe this is going to be a private ballroom for pedophiles. And most of us aren't pedophiles, so we're never going to get inside. I call it the Epstein ballroom. What do you think? Whose ballroom? Whose name should be on the ballroom? Voice your opinion. You're welcome to. As far as I'm concerned, it's the Epstein ballroom. It's a pedophiles only party spot. These people think it's okay. We don't hold the rich and famous to the same standards as you and I. They're not accountable. They're not accountable for their actions. You and I get held accountable for everything. Epstein was a heinous pimp. He was selling women, grooming young girls into prostitutes, in my opinion. Who paid the pimp? The financial records. Who gave him money? He wasn't walking into the bank every Monday morning making a cash deposit. There's a paper trail. Who paid the pimp? That's what I want to see. The documents are supposed to be released by the 19th of this month. That's not going to happen. They are not going to release the Epstein documents. They're not going to show us who paid the pimp. They're going to try to distract us with wars in Venezuela. They're going to try to distract us with human rights violations, breaking international law, murdering people. It's all there to distract. Who paid the pimp? Show us the paper trail. I don't care if you went to his party and drank champagne and rubbed elbows with him. That's not the crime. Who paid the pimp? That's the crime. He wasn't giving them little girls away for free. He was pimping them. Who paid the pimp? It'll be interesting to see who gets invited to the Epstein ballroom. I'm figuring that first he's going to fill it with foreign dictators. And then it's going to be the rest of his buddies. $90,000 square foot ballroom. Yeah, that's not what this country needs. This country needs no tariffs. None. A tariff is not supposed to be a trade war with the world that you and I pay for. It's just criminal. He got elected for the economy, and then he destroyed the economy. In my opinion. Feel free to jump in the chat and disagree. I can't explain it, but from my perspective here on my couch, it looks like I'm paying for his trade war. I'll know tomorrow. I'm going to the grocery store and I got to buy coffee. Coffee's imported. I got a sneaking hunch it's going to be 25% more. I don't know. Maybe that's what I'll do tomorrow, is compare my receipt this week from my receipt last week. It's just ridiculous. $10 a pound for ground beef. The beef's not even imported. It's from right here. It's criminal, if you ask me. stealing money from the people that put him in office. That's exactly what I think about it. It's stealing money. If he'd have told the people, I'm going to increase your taxes with a tariff, nobody would have voted for him. None of us. But these politicians, they think it's okay to lie. I don't have any liars in my life. I don't have time for liars. I don't invite them into my home. People lie for 3 reasons. People lie to hide their greed, to hide their shame, and to hide their fear. It could be any combination of those 3, but those 3 are definitely involved every time a lie is told, in my opinion. Feel free to jump in the chat and straighten me out. They're hiding their greed, their shame, or their fear. They're hiding it from you because they don't think you will like them if you see the real truth. Liars don't get invited into my home. They're not a major part of my life. Once I find out they're a liar, they have told me, they have proven to me that they are disposable to me. Next. I'm going to trade them in for a better model, somebody that doesn't lie. When a politician lies to you, back in the day, it was a campaign promise that he just couldn't fulfill. That's not what their lies are anymore. Their lies now are a conspiracy to rob us of our money, to rob us of our future. Well, maybe next time we won't put a criminal in the White House. My personal opinion, out with all of them. Vote them out. We don't need any incumbents whatsoever. All right, up yours. Who cares? Welcome back to the show, brother. I agree. What would you like to talk about in life experience? I've had many. I'm an old man, long life, lots of experiences. Our new guest star, up yours. Who cares? I got a lot of life experience. I've had a very unique life. Unlike anyone you've ever met, I can guarantee it. I'm a very unique individual. I'll tell you the truth. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. In my opinion, talking about life experience is a good thing. Helps stimulate your memory, get your brain firing on all cylinders. You're always welcome up. Always. That's what I love about human beings. I celebrate our uniqueness. I really do. I hold it in high regard. If we were all carbon copies, do you imagine how boring life would be? I just chose a different path than most people. I hitchhiked around the country for 5 years. I don't know very many people that did that. I met a lot of people, experienced a lot of things. I used to go into a town, find a job, place to stay 2 weeks, get a paycheck, and leave. Well, I did this before the internet. All right. Nowadays, you have the internet at your fingertips. I had some that were bad. I had some that were good. That goes back to that whole thing. Are you going to see that glass as half full, or are you going to see it as half empty? I and I kicked out a couple of bots 2 weeks ago. They were in the chat. I was shocked. It was the first bots I'd seen in my chat room. Now, one was Coke and the other was Pepsi. I was shocked, so I booted them both. I like to think it's half full. So you drink the first half. Ah, the truth is out. Now we know. Up yours, who cares did it. We can all blame him. It's like 17 degrees out there today up. Was I given a short measure? I never been given nothing my whole life. Had to work for everything I ever got. I carved a path. I carved my own path. I was kind of a wild child, actually. Society had a hard time controlling me. Oh, now I don't feel so bad at 17. I'm thinking, oh man, compared to up, I got it made. You're like more than twice as cold as I am, so good for you. Stay indoors, brother. I got my heat turned on. It's probably 80 in here. No, I had a major problem with society wanting to control me and tell me how to live my life, what paths I had to take. January is going to be the coldest. in my experience. Oh, I remember they told me everybody wanted to tell me what to do when I was a kid. And I didn't consider them to be knowledgeable people. Still don't. I got into a little bit of trouble, but I got myself out of trouble. We've got a 40-degree day in the forecast here for Wednesday. I'm in Southwest Michigan. I don't think we've had enough cold weather that they can ice fish yet. I got lakes all around my town here, so when I'm out tomorrow, I'll drive by a lake and see if there's any ice on it. I'm still seeing large flocks of geese and stuff heading south, so we've got some colder weather coming eventually, that's for sure. Well, now that you got the internet at your hands, I think you guys can see everything without ever leaving home. That was a convenience I didn't have when I was young. I was in my mid-20s by the time the internet was invented. I think I got my first computer in 86, maybe 87. I don't spend as much time on the computer now. I did quite a bit when I was younger. Well, all my friends, when we first started, we used to play games online. I can't, I don't have the patience to play those games. Well, you got to invest so many hours into them in order to get good. They don't, school has changed so much, they don't even teach cursive anymore. Which suits me because my cursive was always horrible. But now that they're not teaching it, I should be able to take them old report cards of mine and walk in and demand that the school change them. In my opinion. Exactly. Cursive. It's okay not to write in cursive anymore. But I used to get into trouble for it in school. I ain't lying. Where your handwriting is every letter's connected to the next. I went from getting into trouble because my cursive wasn't good enough. Then I got a drafting class and they told me, oh no, you got to print. Everything has to be printed. Now you don't even draft by hand. Now you do your drafting on a computer. The computer picks the font size, okay? All right, joined up words. I appreciate it. See, that's what's good about Up. You can straighten me out in an instant. Jump in the chat and teach me a lesson. I'm telling you, when I was in school, I was getting bad grades. I mean, D's because of my cursive. Penmanship is horrible, they used to tell me. Your penmanship, that's what cost you. They said, oh, slow down, take your time, do it right. They verbally beat me down because my handwriting was bad. The handwriting bunk that they gave me such a hard time about in school, which helped to drive me out of school, was all on cursive, and now they don't teach cursive. I should be able to go back to all my schools, and they should have to formally apologize to me for mistreating me for having poor penmanship. Yeah, there's a lot of things that you can do on these keyboards now. Well, like the @ symbol. Nowadays, you can put that in the middle of a sentence, and everybody knows what you mean. Aren't we all victims of our past? Yeah, somebody told me after Friday's show that I needed to put these I needed to check these boxes on the live stream so that you can be the number one with the crown and all that in the chat. I don't write anymore. Well, I do make a grocery list. I handwrite that. You look good in that crown Up. You really do. It brings out the shine in your eyes. Oh, I look back at all this crap that they used to teach me in school, and now I'm much wiser and I understand why they did it. But I think that they still owe me an apology for the way they treated me over it. You should get a fake eye. I seen a girl on TV with one the other day, and I couldn't tell. I was just seeing some short, and the girl said she had one eye, and I looked at her video there, and I could see two. I couldn't tell which one was fake. So that's all I'm saying is if you only got one eye, get a fake one. Because I can't tell the difference. Well, there's no doubt a pirate patch is cool. There's no doubt about that. Anything would be better than the shine I got coming off my glasses, I tell you that. One of these days, I'll get another camera. I don't know. Do you wear a hat? That's cool. I love your sense of humor. No, I don't think anyone would drink that. Skull and crossbones hat. Back in the day when I used to hitchhike, I wore a authentic Australian bush hat. It was pinned up on one side. It had a good brim on it. That's why I liked it. I wear hats all the time now. In the summer, I wear a baseball cap, and then in the winter, I wear knit caps. You don't want the wooden leg. Trust me. Protect your legs. You don't want a wooden one. When you lose your mobility, there's a certain amount of quality of life that's gone. I walk with a cane. I can only walk or stand for 20 minutes. It's it's just one of those things, Yeah, we all got to deal with what we got, you know. Make the best of it. But yeah, I my life changed 100% when I lost my mobility. I keep waiting for them to invent something that'll fix it. I look at some of the artificial limbs that they got out, and I think some of those are better than what I got. Well, just the fact that the people can physically walk more. I can go about, I don't know, maybe a half a mile. Then I got to sit down. And the pace varies depending on how much pain I'm in. I was thinking about parrots. It seems like they're a pretty good pet. Well, I've seen two extremes. I've seen one parrot that stayed in the cage all the time, which looked cool to me. And then I seen another parrot that was free to roam about the house, and like on the back of the couch there was bird crap. But they seem like pretty good pets, especially if you can get one that talks. I was just wondering if you could, take a parrot for a walk. If you could take them for a walk and they'd come back, you know, what's the first thing you got to teach your parrot to say? Well, I know they got wings, but I'm saying, can't you buy one that's already trained? Like, they got the service dogs that'll always stay with you no matter what's going on around you. Don't they have parrots that are trained that they'll stay with you? I think everybody swears nowadays. It doesn't have the same negative connotations it used to have. A lot of people swear. Yeah, vicar, that's a UK thing. That's not, we don't have vicars in America. I wonder where that term actually came. Did that come through the church? I mean, wasn't your local church, didn't they have a vicar that was over your like city or town? I'm thinking the Catholic Church came up with the term vicar. I could be wrong. Probably am. We don't have titles. Well, I guess our politicians have titles, but the Catholic Church has bishops, cardinals, maybe vicars still. I don't know. Maybe it'll give me something to Google later. Oh, okay. Church of England. Yeah, we got priests and pastors and rabbis and Yeah, I'm not like a real religious guy. That's interesting, though. Terminology from different parts of the world has different meanings. I think when I was in eighth grade, I took a Australian IQ test. The Australian IQ test I failed because the terminology was so different. I think that was the point of that lesson, though, was to point out that the terminology in different parts of the globe radically change what you're saying. I know that the terminology, I realized it to be so important that from that point on, whenever I had to like read a book for school or study a book, I would always flip to the glossary and read that first. Learn the terminology, learn the lingo. It made the class that much simpler to know it off the jump. And I took that forward into adulthood. And when when I went to get a real estate license, or when I went to get an insurance license, as soon as I got the book from them, I flipped to the glossary. I read the whole thing. Anything I didn't understand, I looked it up on the index, and then I took it and read it in context. And then I discarded the book, figured I didn't need it anymore. And I was right. Well, a certain amount is brainwashing, and a certain amount is pretty standard for all religions. Dean Kratz, never heard of him. What was the book? When I was young, I read mostly Louis L'Amour. I did like Edgar Rice Burroughs. Yeah, your memory and your wheels, that's what goes first. Yeah, a lot of people read Poe. Most of those books, if I tried to read them, I found them too boring, or they didn't catch my interest. The Louis L'Amour ones I enjoyed the most because they were said about the American West, the Old West. The last book I read was the one I wrote. my attention level isn't what it used to be. I don't have an interest in most books. They can most all of them can lose me in the first chapter now. I find most authors trying to be too descriptive. I'd rather have them deliver the facts in a succinct manner. Oh, dyslexia is tough, man. That's real tough. They do better diagnosing it now earlier, I think, and helping people, but I think what I suffered from in reading is generally impatience. I wanted to get to the end of the story quicker. We can all follow orders when we want to. It's just a matter of getting the orders you want to hear, right? Yeah, I never been good at following orders. I've done it, but I generally don't like it. Generally, if I'm somewhere and they're giving me too many orders, I leave. Well, that's the problem I had with the military. I tried to explain it to them and they didn't want to hear it. I didn't like starting at the bottom where everybody got to tell you orders and you got to tell no one orders. That seemed ridiculous to me. I thought I should be entering in the middle somewhere. Then figure out which way to move, up or down. They want everybody to start at the bottom and work their way up. It's not the right way to go. Yeah. Well, I had, similar issues. I was in Fort Jackson, South Carolina, place they called Tank Hill. I did not care for it. It was too much control for me. I need to make my own choices and go my own direction. They wanted to give you a gun and tell you you can fire it 10 times. Made no sense to me. If you're going to give me a gun and you want me to be prolific at shooting, why would you limit the amount of ammunition? It didn't make sense. Well, I still qualified expert, but it's like, why didn't we have the 30-shot banana clips? A lot of what they did didn't make sense. Like walking 20 miles to go 3 blocks away. Made no sense to me. If we got to go 20 miles, why don't you get a truck? Okay. It didn't make any sense to me. It's like they used to have you all go and eat at the same time so that you had to stand in line. Oh no, they served a meal for hours. If the meal's being served for hours, why does everybody all have to go at the same time? I shouldn't have to stand in line for an hour to get to eat. Makes no sense. If you know there are 500 people coming to lunch, why tell all 500 to be there right at the beginning? Why not 100, 100, and then, you know what I mean? It seemed ridiculous to me. They had some antiquated ideas. Well, it was just like they wanted me to learn hand-to-hand combat, and I'm like, no, give me the damn rifle back into 10 rounds. I'll take care of this dude. He's twice my size. I'm not going to throw him off my hip, okay? I'm going to shoot him from, 50 yards away, thank you. A lot of things just didn't make sense to me. Exactly. My point exactly, Up. It made no sense. It's like, we're going to do this the hard way because we've been doing this the hard way for 50 years. How stupid are you? You can't learn a lesson, okay? If you got to do something the hard way for 50 years, you're the problem. Why do you got to do everything the hard way? Why can't you do some things the easy way? I did not like the uniformity of it all either. I'm sorry, I don't want everyone to wear the same clothes. Yeah, I don't do the brainwashing bullshit either. You can't tell me how to think. Okay. I got to have control over my life. Well, I wouldn't say that. You're not an idiot. And the staggering is you're just self medicating. And that's normal human nature. You can't beat yourself up for it. You're not the only one doing it, Up. Okay. You're not the only one in that line. I was 35. I started drinking at 15. I was 35 when I was able to put the bottle down on my own. 20 years. Oh, they were telling me I couldn't drink from day one. I can remember being, this ain't no lie, I can remember being 15 and I'm sitting in a bar having a tall, dark draft. I believe it was Michelob Bock. It's a good beer. Came in a frosted mug. Oh, love those. On a hot summer day, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm sitting there in the bar, not causing no trouble, and my probation officer walked in. You don't need adult supervision. You just need to focus. I get that from my kids all the time. My oldest thinks I need supervision, but my youngest told me I just need focus. I choose to believe the young son. Personal preference, you know. No, I don't worry about you being Roy out of Blade Runner. I don't see that. You're a unique individual. You will carve your own path once you decide what direction you're going in. There's something beyond where you are now. You can't see it because when you do see it, you'll have focus. And I don't think you can identify yourself as a character in a movie either. The guy that wrote that character had a predetermined outcome. You do not have a predetermined outcome. Yeah, both are real. Taxes and death are both real. I agree. But there's more. Quality of life. The quality of life before you pay the taxes, the quality of life before you die. That's where the value of life is in your quality of life. Once you decide where you're going and you have a goal, you will obtain it. You will get there. Right now, you just don't have any direction. We all self medicate for several different reasons. It doesn't have to be any one in particular. I had my third wife. We worked out a deal where I would drive us to the bar and not drink. I'd let her drink. I would just have non-alcoholic beverages, made myself the designated driver. I found out that I enjoyed the time at the bar just as much as she did, even though I wasn't drinking alcohol. It wasn't the alcohol in the bar that I wanted. It was the companionship with the people. And I did value a drunken woman. I gotta fess up to it. I liked her drunk. I liked her better drunk than I did when she was sober. Oh crap. I'm sorry. I just looked at the clock. I gotta end the show, dude. Up. You were a great guest star today. The show flew once you got in there. Boom. It's over. I appreciate you, brother. Come see me tomorrow, 3 p.m. Afternoon Chat. It's the name of the show. Monday through Friday, 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. A free show, an inclusive show. Everyone is welcome. I'm your host, Ghost Mostly. I appreciate everyone that's viewed. I appreciate everyone that's chatted up. What I'm saying is, I appreciate you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for including me in your day. Like and subscribe would help the show. If you can't do it, don't worry about it. No pressure. My philosophy, live and let live. Be patient, be understanding, be caring with one another. Value all human life, not just your own. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a marvelous day. And everybody, thanks to Up Yours Who Cares. He was the guest star today. He went the extra mile. Okay? Hey, my choice is to give kudos where kudos are due. Okay? I'll see you tomorrow at 3. Thanks. Bye.